Hey guys, Shane here from Genesis Offroad. Welcome back to the Genesis Offroad podcast, where we're going to be answering your questions about our products and how to get the most out of your Genesis Offroad products to help you get out there and explore and use your vehicle. Back with us again today, I've got Brad Chester, our marketing guy. Brad, thanks for joining us. Why don't you tell the guys how they can get their questions answered on the show?
Yeah, absolutely. The best way is commenting down below or reaching out via email at info@genesisoffroad.com. You could also give us a phone call. Mike would love to answer your question as well as pass on that question to us. So those are the easiest ways.
Cool. Well, let's just dive right into it, man. What we got to talk about today?
Yeah, so the first one, and we get this a lot, specifically like when we go to a lot of the shows and stuff, is your dual battery system going to void the warranty on my vehicle? What do you think?
Yeah, that's a good question, but the short answer is no. So all we're doing is giving you an extra battery to put in there. The rest of the vehicle doesn't know anything about our system at all. So all the vehicle sees is that cranking battery, and then our Gen 3 Power Hub links that one to the second battery, and they operate like one big battery. The alternator charges both of them while you're driving and while they're connected together. And then, of course, when you stop and the voltage drops a little bit, right, and it separates the batteries from each other, that cranking battery is left to start the engine later, and the rest of the vehicle doesn't know anything about that second battery in there that's still running your aftermarket accessories. So since those are completely separated, it doesn't make any changes to the vehicle's electrical system at all. We don't change the way the alternator charges the batteries. We don't change anything to do with the fuse box or anything like that. So all we're doing is putting two batteries into the vehicle. Now, I understand we've had some people who are concerned about that. You know, a lot of times you hear people say, I don't want to mess with my vehicle until the warranty expires, just in case. I don't want to have any issues if I have to have warranty service. But the thing you got to remember there is, if you take your vehicle in for warranty service, right, you got a legit warranty problem, and you go in, the only reason the dealership is going to deny your warranty is if they can prove that the modifications that you made to the vehicle caused the problem that you're talking about. Okay, so what would that scenario be? Let's say you put in a dual battery system, and let's say something unfortunate happened, like you pinched a ground wire, or you pinched a positive wire, or you left something off of the fuse box and something's not working right. Maybe you damaged a wire physically, or you just didn't hook up a cable. Like the JL has like 6 or 7 wires going in the fuse box. Let's say you forget to leave one of those off there. Oh no, all the circuits that were run through that connection to the fuse box aren't working. Oh no, I need warranty service, right? You go into the dealership, and if they look at that and they say, hey, you just didn't hook up this wire, we're going to put that wire back on there and reattach that for you. Well, is that a warranty issue? No, that's not a warranty issue, right? You forgot to put something back on there. You're going to have to pay for that repair. That's not a warranty issue.
Yeah, they'll be glad to charge you about $500 to hook up that wire.
Right. Same thing. If you damaged a wire, something got pinched or chafed or cut somehow, is that a warranty issue? No, that's not a warranty issue. You made the modification to the vehicle, and that caused the damage to the vehicle. That's not a warranty issue. Now, if you put a dual battery system in, and then 2 weeks later, you've got a leaking intake manifold gasket, and you go to the dealership, well, did the dual battery system cause your intake manifold to leak? No, there's no correlation there, right? So the dealership is not going to void your warranty on something unrelated to the dual battery kit just because you have modifications to the vehicle.
Right.
So, and on top of that, how long have we been doing this now? Since we launched the JK kit in 2013, so 12 plus years. In 12 plus years, we have not had a single customer report to us that their dealership denied them warranty just because of our products in the vehicle.
That's a good reputation right there.
Yeah.
Well, and I know that just because we're dealing with electrical components, it's just such a common fear.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, of course.
And so it's a very natural question to ask. It's a good question, but I'm glad we have a good answer for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Zero warranty issues in over 12 years.
Yep. All right. So another one that's popular, and you've probably seen them all over the internet. I know that they're filling up, and their ads are filling up my Instagram page. But why would I use a dual battery system instead of a portable power supply like a Jackery or an Anchor box?
Yeah. There's a bunch of those portable power stations, right?
Yep.
We've seen them out at Overland Expo.
Absolutely.
Those are great for the purpose that they serve, but they're not really a dual battery system. Now, I think there's use cases for both, right? Our system is designed to give you a second full-size battery that can be used to crank the engine and run your accessories, and all fit into a nice, easy to install package under the hood, and it's serviceable. You can change that battery out in the future if it eventually dies. You can hardwire your accessories like your winch, your stereo amplifiers, your lights up on the roof, your power outlets in the back, all those kind of things that are hardwired onto the vehicle. You maybe got a compressor that's mounted onto the seat, all these kind of things where you've got wires that need to be hardwired to the batteries, right? All that kind of stuff should go to your dual battery system. Then let's say you've got, a lot of people have multiple vehicles and they have a little 12-volt refrigerator, and they like to move that between the husband's vehicle and the wife's vehicle for going to the family gatherings and taking the desserts in the fridge, right? And then when you're going on your camping trip, you want to put that in the Overlander vehicle, right? So in that case, maybe it makes sense to have a little portable power station that you can plug that fridge into just to give you a day or two or so worth of power, and it's portable. Maybe you can take that little battery system out and put it in your tent for charging up your phone in the tent with you, maybe running a little flashlight, something like that. A lot of people like to take them out to the beach and run a little Bluetooth speaker, power the little Bluetooth speaker on the beach. These type of things, those are great for portable power systems, right? You're not going to do that with a dual battery system that's inside your vehicle, right? So I see it as, what is the best case scenario for what you want to do? If you've got stuff hardwired to the vehicle, put in a dual battery system, a real dual battery system. Plus, the dual battery system is getting charged by the alternator, or in the case of our Omega system, you've got the onboard Red Arc Alpha charger that's charging that second battery, and you don't have to think about it, right? With the little portable power stations, you have to remember to plug those things into the wall in the garage when you get home. Some of them, you can get, some of those little portable power stations, you can get an add-on charger that gets wired into the vehicle that'll get hardwired to the battery in the vehicle. And that device will charge the portable power station. But that's an extra cost, and you got to find a place to put that thing too, that sort of thing. So if you need portable power, get a little Jackery or the Blue Eddy, or there's a bunch of good ones out there in the market. Find one that's suitable for your needs and how long you need to run your devices before you recharge it. You just got to remember to recharge it.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I have, a few friends that they do the same thing. They have our Gen 3 system installed to run, like you said, their lights and their winch, things that are hardwired into their vehicle. And then they have, the Jackery style box to power all of their other stuff when they're out actually, camping or exploring or whatever at the beach, like you said.
Perfect.
So I think they go hand in hand. They're not a either or. There's definitely a use case for both of them.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a really good point. I've heard people, doing reviews of these things on YouTube, and they make it sound like it's a competitive product. Like you don't ever have to get dual battery systems. Just get this thing. Well, it's not really the same thing. You're not comparing apples to apples here.
That's right.
So I think it's not a fair way to look at it. Our Gen 3 Power Hub or the Omega system is doing a very different thing than the portable power units. So they're not competitive products, they're complementary products.
Yeah, totally agree. All right, moving on to question 3. Can I use my factory battery with your system? So along with this, like we get questions all the time of like, can I use this size battery or can I use this one? Or so why don't you explain, can they use their factory battery, but also why do we have the size batteries we have in our trays?
So specifically for our kits that put the two batteries side by side under the hood, for those systems, the limitation is the amount of space that we've got to work with, right? So the factory battery, let's use the JL for example. The factory battery in the JL is a Group 94R. It's a little bit longer than the Group 25s that we use. So why can we not use that? If you look at the, if you're standing here on the side of the fender, looking into the engine bay, and your windshield's over here on this side, right? The stock battery runs front to back, lengthwise this way. Okay. So in order to fit 2 batteries in there, we need to rotate the battery 90 degrees up against the fuse box, and then put a second one in front of it closer to the air box. Okay, so when we do that, you've only got so much room between the fender and the engine before you start bumping into things. So that's the limiting factors, how much room we have. So what I try to do is maximize the space that we have available. So on the JL and some of the Toyota vehicles, the most space that we can possibly get there fits a Group 25. The next bigger size up from that is called a Group 34, and it's just a little bit longer. They're very similar in capacity. The Group 25 is a little bit taller. The Group 34 is a little bit longer, but shorter. So we're just looking at the amount of space that we have available. And in the JKs and the Tacoma, we've got a little bit more room between the fender and the engine. So I can put a longer battery, but the hood is a little bit shorter. So I can't go with a taller battery like the 25. So we had to go with a shorter 34. So it's just all about the physics of the space. If we wanted to fit the stock 94R into the JL with a second one right next to it, step 1 of the installation instructions would be move the engine over 2 inches. Okay.
Yeah. That didn't really fit with our easy install motto.
Yeah,
does it?
yeah, exactly.
But there is good news for like the diesel kits, and the diesel Gladiator and the Wrangler. They do maintain that stock battery, right?
Yeah, that's right. So like we've talked about several times with the diesel Gladiator and the diesel Wrangler, there's just no room to put 2 batteries side by side. I tried. Like you said, one of our whole main things about Genesis Offroad is we want to make it as easy as possible to install. Okay, so when I got the diesel Gladiator, I took the stock battery out. I went to try to take the stock plastic battery tray out, just like we do on the JK and the JL, and it was a nightmare to get that tray out. So I fought with it for a couple of hours trying to figure out how to get that thing out of there. And I finally ended up standing up on top of the engine, on top of the fender, and 1 foot on the engine, and reached down and grabbed the tray and yanked on it as hard as I could. It almost went flying off the vehicle. So I was like, okay, this is not easy to install. I can't have step 1 of the instructions. Stand up on top of the engine and reach down and yank this thing out. Okay. That wasn't going to work. So that's the same thing with a lot of the new vehicles out there. Is you looking under the hood, you're like, man, there was just no room to put anything in here. The engine bays were just getting more and more cramped. So for the diesel Jeeps and for some of the other vehicles on the market today, your only option is to put your auxiliary battery somewhere else. So, some people don't like that the extra battery has to go under the back seat of the Gladiator. You can put it in the bed of the truck or, something like that. A lot of people do the seat deletes on the back and they can put it under the floor, that sort of thing. But the reality of the situation is we just don't have the physical space. So if you want extra battery power, which is important to a lot of people, you're going to have to put it somewhere else. But the advantage of that, though, is to do a dual battery system, you only have to buy 1 battery, right? So,
and it can be a variety of sizes. You're not limited to one size, correct?
Yeah, that's right. On the diesel Gladiators, that kit works with a wide range of battery sizes. So you're not locked into one specific size, and you only have to buy 1 battery. So you can get a smaller Group 25 that's very suitable. It gets a lot of the job done. You can go up to a big Group 31 in there for more capacity. Kind of whatever fits your needs. So that's one benefit of putting this second battery somewhere else, is you don't have to get rid of your stock battery.
All right. So I was talking to Mike just the other day, and he said that we've been getting a lot of inquiry about the new Tundra.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a system coming? I know you said we're currently working on the Grenadier at the moment.
Yep.
What's up next for that? I was just talking with a guy on our Instagram DMs just the other day that he wants to run a dual battery system in his new Tundra, and he was asking, like, when is this coming? So what do you think?
Yeah. So I know we've got a lot of people asking about the Tundra. We've had some people asking about the new version of the Tacoma, and even the Toyota just released the 4Runner. So our plans over here, like we said, we're getting the Grenadier ready to show off at Overland Expo East here in about a month, coming up in about a month. As soon as the Grenadier kit is done, we're going to finish up the Omega line for all the vehicles that we support today. And we're almost ready to launch the Omega system for the Bronco and the 3rd gen Tacomas. So those are in prototype stage right now. So those should be launching soon. After those, we'll go to the 4Runner and Tundra and FJ, and just round out the Omega line for all the vehicles that we support today. So really all there is to getting that done is just making a bracket to fit into the engine bay to hold the Red Arc Charger in there. So the Omega lid that sits on top of the batteries is going to be the same as the JL one or the JK one. So just like with our Gen 3 power hub, that same power hub is used on multiple vehicles. It'll be the same way with the Omega. We get the same lid with all the wiring components. We just need a spot to mount the charger. So that should be a pretty simple rollout. As soon as we get the Omega systems, fully launched, then the next goal over here is going to be to look at all the new Toyota vehicles that have hit the market in the past couple of years. I know I feel like we're running a little bit behind with the Tundra. It's been out for a few years now. Toyota's rolling out a bunch of cool vehicles. The 4Runner looks great. They got the new Land Cruiser. The new Tacoma has been out for a couple of years now. So we're going to take a look at every one of those vehicles over the course of the next year. So it usually takes us 2 to 3 months or something like that per vehicle, somewhere in that ballpark. So we're probably going to start with the Tundra. I know the Tundra has a couple of engine options. It's got the hybrid and the non-hybrid version. So the non-hybrid Tundra has a spot over on the passenger side close to the windshield that looks like it's a good spot for us. We need to get one in here and see what we can fit in there, how big a battery we can fit in there. Then on the hybrid Tundra, there's a bunch of the hybrid components that are mounted right there in that spot. So an extra battery is going to have to go into the back seat. So we'll figure that out too. So we just got to get those vehicles in here and see what we can do for them.
Cool. Well, that sounds exciting. It sounds like we're going to be a little bit busy.
Going to be busy for the next year. Lots of stuff in the pipeline. But yeah, you guys just stay patient with us. We're going to be working on all those.
That's right. And then, before you know it, Jeep's going to introduce their new model because it should be coming up, right?
Yeah, the Wrangler's been on about a 10-year refresh cycle. I think I heard the new Wrangler is supposed to be launched in 27, I think. 27 or 28.
Yeah.
I'm sure the guys on the comments can let us know what they've heard, but we're getting real close to time for a new Wrangler.
And what do you think it's going to be called? Because we have the JK, the JL. Is this really going to be the JM?
I think it's the JM. Yeah. I think the forums are already out there. I think we've already got the JM forums out there on the internet talking about some of the spy photos and speculating on what the new features will be, that kind of thing.
All right.
Yeah. So that should be fun to see.
Yep. All right. Well, that was all of our questions for today, but I did want to bring up, we got this comment just a couple weeks ago, and I thought it was a good one to present to you. This guy on YouTube said, "My Gen 1 dual battery system has been running flawlessly since 2016. It saved me several times on the trail." And I thought that was just a good testament to, how we make our products. You always talk about how we want to build our products to outlast your vehicle. And this guy's been running our first gen, dual battery system since 2016, which is almost 10 years ago.
Yeah, that's great. I love to hear that, man. I love to hear those stories. I mean, when we go to the shows nowadays, we've been out there long enough now that about half the people that come by our booth are like, "Oh, there's Genesis Off-Road. I've been running your stuff for years. Love it. It's great. Good job, guys." Which I love to hear that. Absolutely love to hear that, because I design everything to outlast your vehicle. I want your vehicle to rust and fall apart in a pile of rubble and our parts still work. Okay, that's the design intent, right?
It's a perfect picture right there.
But that's not so good for repeat customers, though, right?
That's right. Makes
So
my job a little bit more difficult.
yeah.
You're
As
right.
the marketing, you got to keep getting new customers.
Yeah, that's right.
out there.
That's right.
We don't want the stuff falling apart. Now we've got over the course of the years, we continue refining and updating our kits, and now we're on what we call the Gen 3, right? It was the third generation of our dual battery systems with all new components. So we keep making it better and better and better, but you don't necessarily have to. It doesn't mean the old systems are obsolete. The older systems are going to keep on running, and they're heavy duty and they're made to last. So, the new systems have new features that are great, and we made it an easy transition, an easy upgrade path. If you want to swap out and get the benefits of the new Gen 3 system, you can do that just by swapping the lid out, but you don't have to. So,
right.
Yeah.
And even going back to when you were talking about the Omega system, right? We made it easy to where it's using the same steel battery tray.
Right.
That all you got to do is change the lid and add that bracket for the Red Arc charger to upgrade to the Omega system. But it's kind of like your phone. Like, they release a new one every year. Now, do you have to replace it every year? No, but we want to.
The phone is a good example.
Yeah.
Right. Apple or whoever the phone companies are, they come out with all kind of new features, and the cameras keep getting better, and battery life keeps getting better on your phone. So you want to upgrade. Some people do it every year, every 3 years. If you're like my grandma, every 9 years, that's fine.
Yeah.
But if the thing works, keep running it.
That's right. That's right. All right. Well, that's all I have for us today.
Well, thanks guys for watching. If you guys found these questions and answers helpful, be sure to give us a thumbs up, and make sure you subscribe to our channel so you can see all the new videos that come out like this. We're going to be doing this every week to answer your questions. So if you want to see your question answered here on our show, leave us a comment or send us an email. Thanks for watching. See ya.